Hi, hello, hey, I'm Ray Renee. No fucking long intros. We're talking about Miss Gabrielle Hanna. I do think a collective deep breath is ensue before we even speak another fucking word. Okay, I know that I said no intros, but I do just have to say it is so fucking nice to sesh on the back porch again. Other precursor note that I want to make is that I did see the mini series, whatever the fuck we're calling it, when Gabby Hanna kept posting those videos of her smoking a J like a fucking old person and talking her shit. And so I do have the previous context. I did not know her during Vine. I never had Vine, but I was there for the summer crash out slash what the internet describes as a manic episode. It's important that we note that the internet describes it as a manic episode because Gabby and her ChatGPT searches refuse to call it any form of mania, but rather the effects of psychological abuse, which however many summers ago that was that Gabby was initially saying all of this, it was narcissistic abuse. So I do want to take a moment and say a couple positive things. Number one, I want to say that not only do I think her cactus light is cool, I think her little cactus painting on the wall is cool, and I thought that Gabby's little characters in her first house were cool. I think that Gabby shows a technical ability in painting. Like, her lines are very clean, her shading makes sense, her color palettes are nice. Speaking of her man, I want to say, I think that he said very grounding, positive, and even a little bit challenging ideas to Gabby. I think that leading Gabby to saying, or Gabrielle, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing with the name. I'm willing to call her whatever, but I don't think they introduced themselves on the podcast, to be honest. And I'm pretty sure it's the Gabby Hanna show. Oh wait, no, 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 no. And speaking of her man, I did think that he challenged her in some good ways, right? I thought it was a positive for him to sort of lead her to say that she, in the end, is happy for Trisha and that she acknowledges that Trisha is in a different place. The positive shit is over. I think that Gabby is really opening herself up to not getting it all over again. And that didn't seem to do well for her the last time. There's a few things that really got to me. I think her husband seems like a nice guy. He clearly doesn't know. He admitted that he didn't know. And, he says, well, we're best friends now, so I know. And it's like, okay, so Gabby's been yapping about it for the entirety of your relationship. Cool. You weren't there. Okay. As we all know, Gabby's a born again Christian. I don't know if the husband's a born again Christian or not. The husband says things and is talking about things in a different light than Gabby and tries to lead Gabby to the point of like, you're not here to talk shit, Gabrielle. You are here to express your feelings in hopes of like bringing you closer to a resolve with these people. And then Gabby does seem to kind of be like, oh yeah, right. And, I want to give applause to Gabby for doing that because I do think that demonstrates a lot of safety or perceived safety in their partnership. I know that people have said he's the next Peyton. I don't know. I don't know their relationship at all. I don't have TikTok. I have only seen screenshots of Gabby's behavior on one occasion. I think it was in Fat Jack's video. I know she's misbehaving on TikTok, but I don't know if the husband is involved in the misbehaving on TikTok. And also, this is the first episode. So, they even allude that they've seemingly done a bunch of episodes and made a little bit of a backlog and just like went through, and this is just like it's going through. I don't fucking know. Like, I think that this first one is most recent filming, and then the more recent releases are going to be older filming. I guess I'm just saying that to say, who knows what this guy is really about? I don't fucking know. I will say, big red flag, but it was on fucking both of them, that Gabby says, oh, lol, I'm too dumb to understand what you mean when you say that ChatGPT uses too much water. As she's pulling up ChatGPT's breakdown of support of how she went through psychological abuse. And her husband refers to it as chat. Big, 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 big fucking red flag. If you call it chat, yeah, yeah. I don't have time. I don't even have time. It's like I look at you with like, you'll see my eyes gloss over because I'm saying all of these really just like charged things at you, and you either see it or you don't. Like, it will be every time I see you, I will only be able to think this person calls ChatGPT chat because they use ChatGPT so much that they are integrated in that culture and they call it chat. And I can't talk to this person. It makes me uncomfortable. And I'll just slowly get more despondent until I eventually ghost you. Gabbie is an avid ChatGPT user who uses it to explain why she doesn't have mania or psychosis or schizophrenia, but rather suffers from psychotic abuse. No, psychological abuse. So, and then all that being said, though, it is just like, this podcast just, had it not been for Fat Sajak, I don't even think I would have finished watching it, because I would have been like, this person just genuinely hasn't changed. Yet she called all of her abusers envious losers, bullies. Not that bully is, a horrible thing, but she's like, I'm Katie and they're all Regina George. It's like, okay, Gabrielle. She was the same vile fucking person. I mean, outright said, the biggest thing that I did wrong was being Jessie Smiles' friend. Like, okay, Gabby, I'm not even gonna argue with you on that, because you are saying shit that is supposed to like hurt me. And let me tell you something, girl. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the files, but I have. And like, you're not about to get my activation like that. Literally, fuck you, Gabby. Okay? Jessie Smiles did nothing wrong. Jessie Smiles was literally fucking assaulted. And for whatever reason, you won't just let her move on from her own assault. It's so bizarre. I just can't imagine being as fucking cold-hearted as women like Gabby, Gabrielle, Hannah, whatever the fuck her new last name is, and like Pam Bondi. It's like, Gabby, do you know that like the only other type of women that look at other women and like deny them of their victimhood, or better yet, like won't even turn their backs and look at the women that are sitting there watching this committee try to make any type of advancement, and Pam Bondi just pretend like she don't know the question, look in her stupid fucking binder. Ugh. Fuck both of you bitches. Fuck both of you bitches. All people like this, people that just take your trauma and just use it to fuck you up more and more and more. Fuck you. Fuck you if you just perpetuate non-stop cycles of trauma, of bullshit, of chaos, of desperate pleas to get a little bit of fucking attention. Because Gabby made it very clear why she actually came out to talk about this. She started off saying, I'm not getting volunteer and church opportunities because of my internet drama, and neither is my husband because he's married to me. Well, first of all, both Fat Sajak and Paige Christie, I haven't finished her video, so I don't know everything that she said, but I did get to the point that she mentioned, like, first of all, what the fuck does you not being able to volunteer at a church have to do with Trisha Paytas. Two ways I look at this. If an organization feels like your internet past is so bad that they don't want anything the fuck to do with you. Gabbie, didn't you say something like, if everyone has a problem with you, then like maybe, just maybe, you're the problem, or something very similar to that? I don't even know who you were ranting at. So literally, I don't know. I will not be going back and like doing a layover because like I don't even know where I would be looking. Maybe, just maybe, you're the problem. Something like that. It's in here. It's in here. Gabbie's just so quotable. Because literally Gabbie said in this podcast, talking about I always making me out to be the monster. So I look at it like that, number one, that like, wow, Gabbie, you must have really fucking misbehaved on the internet. So much so that not even the church wants you to be involved. And then I look at it the second way, as Paige Christie has said, as Fat Sajak has said, like, shame on the church for shunning people away. Like, at the end of the day, everyone but Gabbie is willing to say, you did really fucked up shit, and absolutely nobody is going to continue to allow you to attempt to rewrite history. But like, we all know that you are doing so mentally poor. Everyone is trying to hold Gabbie appropriately accountable. Stop rehashing. I guess that's all the internet wants out of Gabbie. But honestly, Gabbie made it pretty clear that what she has currently is not enough. At first, when she was saying, like, it's getting in the way of my humanitarian efforts, I thought to myself, and granted, this is like in the opening first, like 5 seconds, but I thought to myself, okay, well, I think that this is not going to make you look better, but if you are trying to like set the record straight to have something newer on the internet, first of all, this title is not going to make it necessarily look good because the church is going to be like, are you gossiping online? Yeah, it's not going to look good, but okay. But then as the podcast went on, her intentions got clearer. It really is about, this is fucking with Gabbie's money. It really is about, this is fucking with Gabbie's ability to advertise her music. For as envious as she accuses everyone else of being, she was very nonchalantly aware that everyone else but her has been able to move on. Whatever the expectations of Gabbie's career is, her career is not meeting her expectations right now, which is funny because she herself told her fucking audience to manage theirs. And Gabbie is really obviously struggling with accepting where she is at in life. Do I think that churches should be turning Gabbie away? Absolutely fucking not. But there's something that tells me it's not about the churches. It's about the sponsorships. It's about the collaborations. It's about the creative endeavors. I think what's really sad about it is Gabbie wants to make money off of YouTube, and she also wants a very close-knit, affirming community out of YouTube. I heard another creator say, YouTube's comment section is not a community board. It is a graffitied wall. I don't even really know the point I'm trying to make with that. It's just like, enough said with that. Okay, it's just, you know, let's take a deep breath. The other thing I was just thinking about with Gabbie, and she talked about having OCD. She didn't touch on ADHD, so I don't know. And really, I don't give a fuck about Gabbie's medical history. But anyways, I did hear, and I hear a lot of other neurodivergent people talk about he gets so pissy if I dare to move at all. It's like, sorry, I'm literally having a whole conversation with myself on my iPad. Rumination. Gabbie talked about rumination. My bestie Danny talks about rumination. My real life friends talk about rumination. I struggle with rumination. My grandmother calls it my Santa sack of memories. I think there is something to be said about being a neurodivergent, having a very active amygdala and limbic system, I think it is, we are very easily activated, and when you are activated, you are more prone to remembering things. That's why everyone remembers where they were on 9/11. Everyone remembers where they were on January 6th. What do we do about rumination? How do we move past rumination? What does rumination even tell us? How do we move past the self-contained anger? I don't fully know. I can be doing something and suddenly I have a memory. But how I respond to that memory is going to be what ends up happening. And I do find that if I respond to that memory with any type of anger, I am going to stay stuck on it longer. That's the thing that's so funny about, like, oh, you have this Santa sack of sorrows. If you don't like negative memories that have something to do with you, it's like, well, I'm sorry that you weren't on your best behavior that day, girl, but like, it doesn't make it not true. Political talk. That is the thing that really fucking just, these MAGAs that are just really digging in on, like, it didn't happen, the files are fake, or I don't care, or it was so long ago it didn't matter, or it's fake, or, well, we didn't ask other presidents to be held accountable then, so I guess essentially we shouldn't now. It's like, I'm sorry that you don't like how bad this makes you look. I'm sorry that you don't like how it makes you feel to be confronted with your bad actions. That's the thing that, like, pisses me off about white people who want to talk about, it wasn't my grandparents that owned slaves, so, like, I don't want to talk about it. There is this, like, I'm so sorry that your history, I'm so sorry that my memory, I'm so sorry that your history, that the record shows you did this, and it has made lifelong impacts. As we're talking about the Epstein files coming out, and we're taking in the horrors of everything, I want to be able to take this opportunity to say, if you haven't made space to hold harsh truth for Black history, and you've been on board to consume the stories because you understand that survivor stories matter, please educate yourself about the Atlantic slave trade. When I was first hearing about everything going on with the Epstein files, like, I was struggling to kind of be like, who even thinks about this? Or, like, how do you even come up with ideas like this? Like, how do people even get involved in this? It's like, obviously I don't fucking know the how or the why, bitch. But it's been going on so historically that it's like, this goes so far back. Like, okay. My last point before I'm, like, done, because quite frankly, I want to go eat a vegan carrot cake cupcake. Because I'm done talking about this woman. I don't give a fuck. And I really have to finish watching the Tyler Perry video. But honestly, I might not do it tonight because, girl, Tyler Perry has been through a fucking lot and has perpetuated a lot. And again, not just like Tyler Perry, but at any opportunity, I'm taking you to the Epstein intersection. I talk to my mom about this a lot. So if you don't know, trigger warning, our president's genitalia. So in the Epstein files, there was the highlighted portion saying that he had been badly bitten by a young girl who was being forced to give him oral. I've, like, listened to this, but, like, wow, to say that was so difficult. It's so uncomfortable. Yeah. I say this in conversation with my mama. I say, can you imagine you have raped a 13-year-old girl and she's bit your dick and you have trauma from this? Like, you have now perpetuated violence onto your own self because you're a fucking pedophile. It's not that I don't want to feel bad for Gabbie. It's not that I don't want to wish her the best. It's not that I don't want her success in her career. It's not, but Gabbie, what more do you need? Because honestly, that's always been the problem. The problem is that Gabbie is so deeply unhappy with herself that no matter how many fans she has had that stuck through with her, no matter how many opportunities she has still had through this, despite the fact that she is married and had a beautiful wedding, despite the fact that she managed to sell her house and then move to what I think she called it like a modest home or something. I'm thinking, Gabrielle, mama. So in the United States of America, people are unable to sleep on park benches because the city goes around and these fucking dividers so that people can't lay on the benches, okay? They live in trailers with mushrooms growing in the floorboards. They live in apartments with mold in the ceilings.
Or more realistically, they are sleeping in their cars, on people's couches, or in hotels.
In Gaza, people are living in like fucking plastic tarp tents. In Sudan, girl, I don't even know if those people fucking sleep. Google image satellite images of Sudan. You can see evidence of the genocide. In Uganda, they're walking miles to the nearest fucking health center because US aid was cut immediately when y'all's president got in. You know, I had dinner tonight and I took a picture of it and I was like, I can't post this. Why would I post this? I have a follower who goes to bed hungry. I follow someone who goes to bed hungry some nights. So what do I do with that?
Alongside volunteering and donating my money,
I tell my husband, thank you for agreeing to use our money in a way that prioritizes our food because we are of so few who has such access. And then I choose to be vegan to my best ability. For transparency, I think that I should probably be saying plant-based, but I really am trying to say vegan because it's like everything from the grocery store that we get is vegan. Once a month, we go to a donut shop. It is not vegan. I am open to the month that I go, I don't want to do this anymore. I was not there this month, in full transparency. I am open to trying again next month. I am open to the challenge. But even with myself, like the other day, I was like, why can't I just allow myself to have what I have? Just say you're plant-based. Because if it's a fucking like if we're talking about 3 donuts a month, that's like getting in your way of being vegan. Do you hear how weird you sound? Just go find a vegan donut. And I know that's true. Or I could just make my own vegan donuts. And I could love it. It's just, you know, we get so programmed. We like having our little treats. We like having our little things. We like having the luxuries of a service being done for us. But I want to take the opportunity to remind you that the United States goes out of its way to destabilize the globe so that we can dick around with the luxuries. If you made it this far, thank you so much, Batty. Let me know if you were there for Gabbie Hanna Speaking Her Truth 1.0. And while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will catch up in the next one.